Hey everybody, my name's Ed. Okay, new comics video. So this one will be about the last, like the last one. I'll talk about a few of the comic books I bought last week and give my opinions on two or three of them, and then I'll show you the comic books I bought this week. I was going to talk about, the whole Marvel announcement that's going to change the industry forever, but it's really not worth the effort. Basically, for people who don't know, they made a big deal out of we're going to have an announcement that's going to change the industry forever, and really the announcement was basically boiled down to we're going to release a bunch of comic books this fall, and they're going to have a bunch of variants for them. So whatever. I think a lot of people were upset because they really thought Marvel was going to have this big earth-shattering news, and it's basically nothing. And I get people being mad because, why make a big deal out of having an announcement when you didn't actually have anything of substance to announce. But I don't know. I get the retailers being pissed because I know retailers have to order their comics in like several months in advance. And if they don't know what these comics are about or what's in them or whatever, they really aren't too sure how to order them. And what when it makes it even tougher on because I guess Marvel is are non-returnable or whatever. So there's a lot of guesswork going on, and you can't really judge. You might be a retailer and you know your audience, you know your store, you know your neighborhood, but if you don't know the product that you're getting, um, like I said, you don't know how to order. So I get retailers and guys being pissed, but whatever. Me as a fan, I'm like, fine, another day of Marvel Comics, whatever. Okay, I wanted to show you this. This was last night's beer. Actually, there's still some in here, but I'm saving it. It's Extra Kinky Red, a mischievous mix of watermelon and strawberry flavors. Yum yum, 8% alcohol. But today's beer is going to be Goose Island Green Line Pale Ale Toasted Malt Body. All right, so cheers. All right, so first thing this week is Bitch Planet Triple Feature number 1. This is kind of an anthology. There's 3 stories written and drawn by different people other than Kelly Sue DeConnick and Valentine, who were the normal creators. Uh, I gotta say, I was a little bit disappointed. The first story is about a woman who was a guard, and then she gets busted down to being a domestic, and she feels like she's kind of mistreated. And there's a little bit of a twist at the end that kind of fits into the kind of revolutionary thing that's going on with the main story. Okay, but the next 2 stories are, excuse me, basically about the exact same thing. Story number 2 is about a woman who's a secretary who is basically doing all the work for her boss, and she feels kind of put upon and put down, and all her hard work is sort of annoyed, is ignored while the boss gets all the glory. And then the next one is kind of the same thing. A woman who kind of works in this corporate environment. She kind of wants to do things and has ambitions, but people kind of put her down for her looks and things like that. And at the end, she kind of rebels or whatever. Of the 2 stories, I kind of like the story number, story number 3, The Invisible Woman, a little bit more. I like the art a little bit more. The story's a little bit funnier, and the lead character's a little bit more proactive. But again, let's see here. How do I want to say this? The comic book, Bitch Planet, is basically kind of taking these kind of old 60s, 70s exploitation movies, tropes and things like that, and using them as a vehicle to kind of tell this sort of feminist story, feminist ideology. And While the main title that's written by Kelly Sudakonic really makes an effort to be inclusive and show a variety of different types of women from different backgrounds and different ages and different ethnicities and things like that, different classes or whatever. I hate to use buzzwords and things, but you talk about intersectionality. Um, I think she does a good attempt at doing that. These two stories, Without and Within and Invisible Woman, tell the exact same story. Like I said, I think one's a little bit better, but it's approaching feminism from this kind of, you know, I hate to go there, but upper middle class corporate white woman's point of view, and this sort of, I don't know what other word I want to use, but the idea that you're attacking a whole kind of well, I'll just go with what I just said, and that's kind of the sort of thing that kind of gets talked about in real life, politics and feminism. There was a whole women's march on Washington where some women who were had a slightly more conservative points of views felt like they weren't being included in that march. You hear things about how women of color sometimes feel that when they want to bring up issues of race or class, their concerns are sometimes ignored. And obviously, it's not everybody. It's not a blanket thing. But I'm just saying it's something that gets brought up when these matters are discussed. And like I said, it was disappointing. Not that they had those stories that you had, but two of the stories, like I said, were from the exact same point of view. They could have used one of these stories to take another aspect of how women live or react in the bitch planet world. So I guess that's where I'm coming from with that. Okay, so Luke Cage #2 by David Walker, and the art is by Nelson Blake II. It's an okay comic, not super great. I'm enjoying it so far. Basically, Luke has been investigating the death of the scientist that gave him his powers, and he's run across one old, pretty obscure supervillain from the 70s and early 80s, who regards Luke as his brother. He's a little bit insane, but obviously he's undergone the same procedure or similar procedure, and he's come to find Luke, and Luke's trying to find out what's going on, and then we find out that the other young men have been experimented on recently as well. So the plot moves forward a little bit, uh, and that's it. Like I said, it's not a great comic. It's okay. It's a solid B comic. Okay, all right. Aquaman #25 by Dan Abnett and I can never say Stepan Sejic's name, but where we're at in the plot is, I guess what's going on is Aquaman has been removed from the throne, and everybody thinks he's dead, and the bad guy is on the throne. And is this is this Ocean Master? I'm not too sure which bad guy this is, but I don't know. That's not Ocean Master, is it? I don't know why I think it's Ocean Master. You know why? Because I don't know anything about Aquaman's mythos or whatever. It's just like this character here. Mild spoilers. Oh, now I can't find it. I have a big statement to make. Here, this character with the short hair. She's Tula. Wasn't that Aqua Girl from like pre-Crisis? I don't know. I thought she was dead. I have no idea. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway, everybody thinks Aquaman's dead, but he's not really dead. He's hiding out in the lower quarters or whatever, and he decides he can't sit back anymore. So he sees he's kind of fighting crime a little bit, and the other Atlanteans are like, "Oh, what's going on? It must be the ghost of the Aquaman," and so on and so forth. And the words getting around, and then Aquaman's wife, who I think is not his wife because of the New 52, Mira finds out she was depressed because she's somewhere in the surface world, and she was depressed because she thought he was dead, but now he's not dead, so it looks like she's about to be a little bit more active or something like that. Okay. Um, I pretty much liked it. It wasn't a groundbreaking comic or anything like that. You've seen some version of this before in any number of like superhero comics where the superhero is like a king or whatever, or fantasy comics or whatever. But I enjoyed it. It was well structured. I liked the dialogue. I liked the art a lot. So, Nito Keen. Magic Socks, or I'm sorry, Girl Scouts number 2, Magic Socks by uh, Jim Mahfood. All right. Um, yeah, sex, drugs, rock and roll, hip hop, violence, and weird psychedelia. Basically, what's going on is the Girl Scouts are kind of this, a girl gang, for lack of a better word. And one of the members, Daphne, has stolen these socks, which are in fact magic socks, which all kinds of people have used throughout history to conquer and be depraved and do all kinds of crazy stuff. The bad guys want the socks, and also her cousin has come upon the scene, and I'm not going to show you that one. And she wants the socks. Meanwhile, Rita and Gwen are trying to find out what's going on. And I don't know. It's just lots of double crossing and fist fights and kung fu and gunfights and posting crap on the internet. It's just really nuts. As you can see, the art is very crazy and quasi psychedelic, but but I enjoyed it. It made me laugh. It's dense, it's nutty, it's crazy, it's zany. It kind of has that old school underground comics feel to it, even though obviously um, Jim Mafu, I shouldn't say obviously, but Jim Mafu is actually a younger guy. By younger, he's probably in his 40s or 50s. But he's from, that kind of 90s generation, I should say. So yeah, it's a nutty, crazy comic, and I liked it. I'm on board. All right, so as far as comics that I got this week, all right, got a freebie here. Hydrobot and the Transformers, and Hydrobot is a razor. Oh, and I also got, what is this, a coupon? Coupon! Ha ha ha. Because once again, who's the real audience for this? 30 and 40-year-old guys that remember the 80s. That's who. All right. Okay, got Defenders number 2. I actually kind of like this cover. I think the cover is by the main artist, who's David Marquez. Batwoman number 3. And number 4. So I'm looking forward to reading these. New 50, well, I'm looking forward to reading them. I kind of reading 0 through issue 2. I don't want to say I was let down, but I wasn't as excited about Batwoman as I wanted to be. But, I mean, it's a solid comic book, but I just wasn't feeling it the way I wanted to feel it. But I'm optimistic, though. I'm optimistic. Green Arrow, number 25. Astro City, 45. Check this out. The hero here is what's the name here? Glamorex, a glam rock superhero. So changes, time to break the change. All right, you don't want to hear me sing. Black Magic #6. Let's return to this comic. Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. Really looking forward to reading this. I actually do think it was better than, as much as I like the run on the most recent Wonder Woman comics, Wonder Woman Rebirth. Um, I think Black Magic is a little bit better comic. So, Ronaldo Jones Freelancer #2, an actual comic book with a left wing agenda. When you have a hitman who's shooting like corporate guys and fighting the oligarchy, that's a left wing agenda. Marvel Comics putting out the New Adventures of Strawberry Shortcake is not left wing agenda. Heroines #2. I took a chance on #1 and really liked it. So, Destroyer #2. I'll give it one more issue and then I'll decide if I want to keep reading it. Bank Shot #1, written by Alex DeCampi. I don't know anything about it other than that. Oh, the writing is by Alex DeCampi and the art is by Chris Cross. So, Alex DeCampi did a few things. She did Mayday recently, which I liked, except for the last issue. The last issue was actually a little bit anticlimactic. She was doing Grindhouse for Dark Horse for a while, and a few other things here and there. So, but okay. And Godshaper #2. I don't know anything about this comic. I've seen Travis talking about it, so I thought I'd take a chance on it. #3 is actually out. But I figured I'll get #2, or I like #2, I'll get #3, and then maybe I'll order #1 online or something like that. So, okay, that's it. I got another video that I actually finished shooting, and it's in the can. I might upload it in a couple days or so. But for right now, I guess that's it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. You guys have a good day.